Perfect Talkers, what it do? On this episode, we're going to talk about your man Alec Baldwin, Joe Biden, Rudy Giuliani, Shakur Stevenson, Cam'ron Mase, Tuah, and much, much more. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let's get it. What's good, y'all? It's your man DJ Playboy back with another episode of the Perfect Talk podcast. And on this episode, I'm back with my dog, my partner, my guy, Spec. What's good, brother?
What's good, man?
People missed you, man. People missed you.
Glad to be back. Enjoying this summer. Hot weather, trying to stay cool.
Nice. Man, I was what happened on my way here? I had passed a construction site, right? And I think I might have expressed this though in the group chat before. But I was passing a construction site, and you know how like it'll be traffic and stop one lane.
Right.
One dude's down there telling them they can go, and then the other dude telling you to stop. This dude was telling me to go. He turned it around to go, but slow. It's a slow on the other side, and the other dude was still telling traffic to come. So like I had to like do some.
They weren't communicating.
No walkie-talkie, no nothing. And then even after they realized the mistake and then traffic went through, he still didn't turn the sign around. He started the wrong. I'm like, yo, you gotta tell your man, da. He's like,
Yeah.
He always hit his own world. And it made me think of something, right? And I think I might have said this to you before, but I gotta know, listeners out there, y'all gotta let me know. Every time I pass a construction site, right, the people guiding the traffic is either women or black dudes. I've never.
That is true.
Always, or unless it's all white, unless they're all white dudes there. But then it would be like obviously they got to get one of them. But like if there's a woman there, she's doing it, and whenever there are black dudes, I never see them doing the drilling, the climbing. I always see them guided, and I'm like, is this? I wonder if it's systematic, like they don't think that they could do the other stuff, or are these dudes just happy getting a fat check? Like waving traffic along.
Probably both. I mean, right? It seems like they give the least qualified person that job. That's what it seems. Yeah. I'm not saying that they're not qualified, but
but I'm like, damn, they got y'all doing the women work, like
kind of like when you driving by a store that's having a liquidation sale. Mm-hmm. They'll have an employee like out on the street on the corner with a sign and 100-degree weather.
Right, yeah. Or a homeless person. You're right. Now that I think about it. Nah, that's yo, construction workers, we gotta know what's going on. Is it just the culture? Like, are they holding y'all back? Or is it like, yo, we in here, we getting that guap, like we just
Did you volunteer for that job? Or how'd you get that job?
Because I gotta imagine you getting paid more if you're doing the actual, like jackhammering. Yeah, right. Like, but if you get paid the same, maybe they feel like, yo, I'm not risking my muscles, I'm not doing it. I don't know. But, we'll figure it out, man. But, let's get right into it, Spec. You know how we do things here at the Perfect Talk podcast, man. We start with Plick's Spotlight Story. There's always a story in the news. Might be the biggest story, might be a small one, but just something that we got to bring to the attention of the people here at the Perfect Talk podcast. And this one, I know you've seen, I couldn't get away from it. Every time I was in the gym, all the screens was Biden. Biden's campaign. You know what I mean? After the debate, how they going to bounce back? Biden's like, I ain't going. Yeah. We ain't going nowhere. Like he's on his Diddy right now. You know what I'm saying? And like, I'm gonna do a conference. NATO's coming to town. I'm gonna do a conference. We gonna get all this solved out. Y'all didn't like how I performed on the debate stage. He did an interview with George Stephanopoulos. Was like, it was a bad night. It was a bad night.
Yeah.
What do you want me to say?
Play fuck up too.
But you know what I mean? And I don't know if I believe that because I've seen a lot of bad nights or days before that. He was like, I think the announcement came out, he's not going to do anything after 8 p.m. It sounds silly.
Makes sense though for his age.
It do, but I think I heard a press conference. You know, like how they always trying to catch him and stuff. I think I heard someone say to the press secretary, so what if someone orders a nuclear attack after 8 p.m. Are they just in the class?
After that?
Yeah, she's looking at like, what am I going to say? Like, you know what I mean? I think he even tried to clear it up during his press conference, but his press conference, I don't think that was a net win. I don't think it came out looking better than people thought before. There were already people calling for him to lead the campaign, and even more came out after that press conference.
Right.
Two big pieces that we saw from it was he referred to Vice President Kamala Harris as Vice President Trump.
I wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump to be Vice President, but I think she was not qualified to be President. So let's start there. Number one. The fact is that the consideration is that I think I'm the most qualified person to run for president. I beat him once, and I will beat him again.
Which is weird.
Wait. Am I missing something? Did he just say what I think he said?
And they try to run through it like we didn't catch it. Like You gonna put your vice president, your ops name, and not. Now, I'll give him some credit. Like, and I think this is because we have to, he's the president. We have to look at everything he says through a fine-tooth comb. Right. Same way I have to edit this podcast. I hear all the mess-ups I make. The audience doesn't always hear it. I think we spoke about that before. Like, but I mess up sometimes. Sometimes I'm talking about he, and I'll say she, or you know what I mean? Like, and then try to run through it. You know what I'm saying? So I get where that comes from. No one's perfect, and the more that you're on a microphone, the more you're going to mess up. But that's a wild one, Vice President Trump. And then introduce Ukrainian President Zelensky as Putin.
Over to the president of Ukraine, who has as much courage as he has determination. Ladies and gentlemen, President Putin. President Putin. You can beat President Putin. President Zelensky. I'm so focused on beating Putin, we got to worry about it. Anyway, Mr. President.
I'm better.
You are a hell of a lot better.
Thank you so much.
And that's just like, those were the mess ups.
There's levels.
Certain mess ups. And I will say I'm guilty of it too. I think we were giving Biden a pass a lot of times. Like, you know, but he's still grandpa. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, grandpa gonna mess things up. He gonna trip every once in a while. He gonna call Taylor Swift Britney Spears. That's what they do. But I think we were doing that way too much for the person that's the leader of the free world. Whether they're as serious as they're not, because a lot of people are holding that in private and they had these conversations with him. He's doing his thing. You know what I mean? He's calling Netanyahu and was like, yo, if you do this, you're on your own. We ain't rocking with you. You know what I mean? Like so they when it's time for him to get to business, he gets to business. But you got to show it. It's got to have a look to it. That's why the president position has a look to it.
Right.
You know what I mean? But how'd you feel after, I guess, watching the NATO press conference and all that?
I mean, so for me, it was nothing new. Mm-hmm. Like after the debate, after the conferences, like for me, like this is who he's been for the last few years. Like, and for anybody to think that it was going to be anything different other than what you've seen is silly. Now, obviously, everybody doesn't follow politics all year round and all of that stuff. So if you're super casual and this is the first time you're really hearing him, because he doesn't speak often, right?
Yeah, they kind of shelter him a little.
Right. Yeah. So if this is like your first time, like really paying attention, it may be shocking. But for me, it was just more like once they started calling for him to resign, I'm like, y'all, we're literally several months away from the election. Y'all should have been doing this a year ago.
Yeah,
like period. Yeah, like exactly. Why are we waiting? Like, so I was upset, not because of what he was showing, because he's been showing this for a little while now, but because we're waiting this long, so close to the actual election to go through all of this. Like, y'all should have tried to get him the boot a year ago.
I've seen all these clips. I've seen clips. I've made clips. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, haven't people seen them? You know what I'm saying? And I think in my head, I'm like, really, is the left wing narrative of the right wing is just doctoring these videos? Is that really, are people believing that? Because I mean, like, I'm seeing undoctored videos that they don't have to do nothing to. You see them at the Juneteenth celebration. Look like where y'all took me to.
We backing off?
Are y'all cool with this right now? All these black people having a good time? Like, we seen it. He called LL Cool J, LL Cool. He called him boy. Oh, did he? I forgot what it was, like one of those Grammy like hip hop events, but he was like, he referred to LL Cool J as the wrong name. It's LL Cool J. It's easy as hell. You know what I mean? But it's just like, for now, for George Clooney, 2 weeks after doing a fundraiser with him.
Yeah, I was like, damn, like you was just like slobbing his knob a little while ago. Now it's just like,
making mad money with Obama, and now what did he write? A think piece in the New York Times asking Joe Biden to leave the race. Said he's not the person that he thought he was. I like the DL Hughley clip. He was like,
"It doesn't matter for anybody, and my people and communities of colors, everything's at stake for us." And to have these conversations about George Clooney, he's not the man he was in Ocean's 11. What are you talking about? I mean, this is crazy to me.
You know what I mean? I think DL was like, DL, you know what I think a lot of Democrats too were doing? They were just hoping this legal battle against Donald Trump would be a W. And it's now it's starting to crumble and it's not looking great. Supreme Court's granting immunity, this, that, and the third. Right. And it's like, now y'all getting shaky, but y'all should have had this as the backup plan because you should have seen this coming. Right. Y'all threw 93 cases at him, and it did look like he wouldn't come from underneath it. But it's like, I mean, he shocked us before.
Teflon Donald. Teflon Donald.
I want to quote George Clooney. He said, "It's devastating to say it, but the Joe Biden I was with 3 weeks ago at the fundraiser was not the Joe Big effing deal Biden of 2010. He wasn't even the Biden of 2020. He was the same man we all witnessed at the debate. So why it took you 2 weeks to come out?" After
that's the point that I'm making. It's like you claim you knew this.
So what was you
like,
so
it's just like
you was getting your words together for your editorial piece. Like, also, I think to George's point, it was a bad night. He had a cold excuse. It sounds, come on, like I think that's just insulting. It's like, what do you? And it really, everything is insulting about this. The fact that there's two people, someone who's a convicted criminal and a man whose mental cognitive abilities we're doubting, and that's what we're limited to. That's insulting. You know what I mean? So I think people are fed up. Like, they're just like, yo, what was going on in these streets, man? George Stephanopoulos, I don't know about that. He sat down and did an interview with Joe Biden, right? Yeah. You seen the video where somebody ran up on him in the street?
No.
I'm gonna show you. Hold on, let me pull it up for you. And this is why people don't like trust the left wing, because they doing stuff like this.
Hey, excuse me. Hey, how you doing? What do you think? Do you think Biden should step down? You talked to him more than anybody else have lately, and you could be honest. Serve 4 more years. You don't think he can serve 4 more years? All right, that's an answer.
And then he had to come out and say he misspoke. He answered a question that he shouldn't have. Now, to his defense, he might have just been annoyed, but if you don't think you should, tell the people that. We'll trust that. You sat in a room with him and spoke to him. Now Disney got to come out and be like, the views of George Stephanopoulos are not the views of Disney. You know what I mean? He has to come out and say, I said a statement I shouldn't have. Bro, if that's how you feel, you're the news.
Right.
We should, it shouldn't have to take someone catching you on hidden camera for that. Now, he might have just been walking down New York City who is this weirdo stopping me on the street? You know what I mean? But, you answered it. You could have told him get lost.
I guess it's because, as a news, you're supposed to remain impartial and not give your opinion. Mm-hmm. So that's probably what that's about. But, yeah, you got to know
But it doesn't work like that for the support. Because Whoopi Goldberg, who worked for the same station, she works for The View, which is on ABC and Disney. No, I guess she's allowed to give more of her opinion because of it, as opposed to a George Stephanopoulos who used to work in the White House. I think he was
and who is more of a news anchor, whereas Whoopi Goldberg is more of on a talk show. So it's a bit we know where the people on that talk show, we know where their political allegiances lie.
It's supposed to be a mix, but it's not. It's obviously very left-leaning, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, one or two of them.
They sprinkle in the Republicans to make it spicy, but yeah. But whereas the station, ABC itself, yeah, where they kind of lean left. But she said that Whoopi Goldberg was quoted as saying she would support Joe Biden even if he pooped his pants. She'll support him until he can't do the job. But she was speaking out of both sides of her mouth. I want to pull up the quote here because she also said she revealed that she's only sticking with Biden if he can prove he's up for the job. She also told her co-host that if the president has another shaky debate, she's jumping ship. This is the quote. There are 2 debates. If he can't do what he needs to do for the second debate, I'll join any crew that says get rid of him. But loyalty to me, if you are doing the job, I might not like everything you're doing. I don't like it all, but I'm going to stand behind you like those guys stand behind the guy who couldn't tell the truth if it split his lip, referring to Donald Trump. So basically she's saying if y'all going to have undying loyalty to Donald Trump, that's what she has for the Democratic Party, which is weird. It's weird on both sides of it. I call it weird when it's MAGA dick riding, and I call it weird when it's Democrat dick riding. It's just they work for you. They should be fighting for your vote, not just giving it unloyally. And if you see stuff you don't like I'm not going to get mad at a George Clooney. Yes, you should have said it before, but I prefer you say something than say nothing. Right. If that's how you feel. But if he poops his pants, you're going to have undying loyalty to this man.
So I think it just has more to do with, at the end of the day, if these are our 2 options, and
it's lesser of 2 evils, right?
It's no different than the last, I feel 2 elections. That's what it's been. Yeah. 2020, it was these 2, and that's what it was. Everybody didn't really like either candidate, but we know who we don't like more. And so if we know that if we don't stand behind that man, the man that we don't like even more is going to win.
Yeah. That's where the two-party system minimalizes the thought of it all, the choice of it all. Because you're like, well, they both suck, but you suck less. And that's like, is that what the greatest country in the world should be doing? No,
but it's one of those things. We technically have the power to change that because we could all vote for an independent candidate, but we don't. That just won't happen.
Yeah. It's hard to get that many people to have a united thought.
So we'll complain about something, and we won't necessarily do what's needed to rectify that, and so it's just a bad cycle. It's like we will forever have just a two-party, even though. Like both parties, in my opinion, can represent an extreme in each party, whereas the independent may be more in the middle, but we won't vote for that.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. So
no, and the other part of it too is the Supreme Court. They kind of just gave immunity for official acts of the presidency, right?
I mean, they kind of did their job. I mean,
no, but here's the ironic part about it. So everyone's mad. They're like, well, they just gave Donald Trump the right to come back and do whatever he wants, to never leave, have a dictatorship, this, that, and the third. They did it while Joe Biden's in power. Can he just do the same thing? Like, they're like, if Joe Biden wanted to go kill Donald Trump because he feels like he's a threat to democracy, right? They can say, well, that's an official act as the president, but it's up to their discretion. But they're basically saying, we're going to give you the right to do what you want. But you pussy. You ain't going to do it. And you just going to hand it back to him, and know he's not going to give it to you.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't entirely, the Supreme Court's decision, it's one of those things. I don't completely disagree with it, nor do I completely agree with it, because at the end of the day, as a president, you are tasked to make certain decisions. It's like a cop. You're tasked with certain things, and sometimes those certain things may be to the detriment of other people in some way, shape, or form, but you're not doing it like on some I'm intentionally trying to harm these people. It's just one of those bad side effects from
it's like a gray area
from what you did. And given the job that you have, sometimes you do have to make these tough decisions that affect people maybe in the wrong way. So from that standpoint, you shouldn't necessarily be held accountable because you didn't necessarily do anything bad. You had to make a decision, and unfortunately, it would have been at the detriment of somebody at the end of the day. And so I get where they're coming from. There are certain things where immunity is kind of necessary, but where do you draw the line? That's where the gray area lies, and it's just going to be one of those things.
Yeah, I know. Because we didn't get a chance to talk about that. Your opinions on how that happened, but yeah, a lot of people are pissed off by it. They feel like they were just being loyal to their conservative views, and they feel like this is the decision that's going to help the conservative candidate.
Okay, yeah, sure.
But that's life, right? That's Bronny James in the league. That's just how it works. You know what I mean? So
what do you do, y'all? It's your man DJ Playboy. Just interrupting real quick, man. I really appreciate you watching this episode of the Perfect Talk Podcast. But if you're watching on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button. You got to run them numbers up so I could keep running it up. Also, if you're listening to the audio version on the podcast, make sure you leave a review. Let them know how much you love the podcast, and subscribe to the thing. And if you really, really want to support the team, go to www.perfecttalkpodcast.com. Get yourself a t-shirt, get yourself a sticker. You can even get yourself a mug, man. The possibilities are endless and the prices are low. Holla at us, baby. Let's get it.
Right now, we got to switch it up to one of my favorite segments, and it's called Winners and Losers. Somebody got to win the week, somebody got to lose the week, man. And this is kind of like a legal edition because it involves two legal cases. This week's winner, Alec Baldwin, got his case dismissed. In the Russ case, after the armorer has already been found guilty, high profile case because of he was a producer on it, he was also an actor in it, and obviously he's the one who had the gun in his hand when it happened. I think it came in as a surprise to many that it was dismissed, but the prosecution basically was found to not have, they suppressed evidence. Basically this whole dispute was over, they didn't disclose evidence to the other side. So it shows you why you got to spend that expensive lawyer money, because that's really what the money goes towards, to make sure every T is crossed and every I is dotted, and basically they didn't disclose evidence that was given to them. I guess it was Colt 45 rounds. They were delivered to the sheriff's office in March by a gentleman named Troy Teskey. He's a former police officer, and he's a father of Hannah Gutierrez Reed's. He's a friend of Hannah Gutierrez Reed's stepfather. Okay. He turned in Colt 45 rounds on the same day she was convicted of involuntary manslaughter. it looks like they never gave that information to Baldwin's attorneys for them to either argue or agree that it was beneficial to the case. And just that little slip up got the whole case dismissed, bro.
I wonder, but why did they suppress that? Why didn't they?
It seems like they just kind of forgot. I don't see how it was in their advantage to suppress it.
Right.
Yeah, I don't see how that would have helped. So that means like Bill Cosby, like
minor detail. Yeah. Minor detail.
But that's what you pay the money for. That's you want the people to not sleep until they figure out if the other side messed up, and the other side is supposed to be working just as hard to make sure everything. It's like that's why warrants have to have the right address on them and got to be signed by the judge and all that. You know what I mean? So it's just like, yeah, he got away. I mean, I thought he already got away. So the fact that they even brought this back up and
to be truthful, I didn't think that he was going to be found guilty anyway.
It's hard as an actor in that position,
especially since the armorer was already found guilty. Like that's the armorer's job to ensure that the bullets that's supposed to be in there are, and he was the shooter of the weapon that was handed to him. So
I'm not supposed to have live rounds in it.
Right. I don't think they were going to convict him of that in that situation because he, according to all the evidence, he had no knowledge. Mm-hmm. He played no part except for pulling the trigger, which he was supposed to do.
You know what I think in a lot of these cases? Like I heard something about the mayor Eric Adams, right? He he's always been kind of a supporter of Joe Biden, but now he's starting to be a little critical of Joe Biden. And what happens? A federal investigation is now being brought in to see if he's taking money from Turkish, individuals illegally. But that's what they do. They say, oh, you don't want to play ball? Okay, we're going to make it hard for you. And I get a feeling Alec Baldwin wasn't playing ball. Like, he was getting a little like, go fuck yourself to them. And they were like, oh, word? Okay.
Probably. Because he probably felt, I didn't do nothing.
Yeah, he's like, I'm protected. Yeah, which he probably should be. You know what I mean? That's as an actor, I would think you are. You know what I mean? They try to get, like, I think it was thrown out that he, I think they wanted to involve the fact that he was a producer on the case and that wasn't even allowed in. They were like, no, that's because that's not what that isn't applicable to the case.
Right.
But it would have been hard, to your point, to really convict him because I believe she was found to have been getting high the night before. She still had shit in her system.
I don't recall the specifics.
Yeah, but I believe it was cocaine and other drugs, if I'm not mistaken. It was just as bad.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's like you're the armorer, though.
That's crazy.
And I think alcohol as well.
That's easy. That's an easy guilty.
Yeah. And I'm like, but it's hard to like try to like. If she was doing everything right and it still happened, it still would be hard to convict. But it's like, come on, now we got a scapegoat. It's like, come on,
that was the scapegoat. Yeah, once she got found guilty, we good.
I don't even think coke stays in your system that long. She was partying. That's crazy. And but yeah, I don't know if I should say shout out to Alec Baldwin because someone did pass away and someone else was shot as well. But you beat it. This week's loser, Rudy Giuliani, man. It was found that his bankruptcy case is going to be dismissed. He had been found to I believe he was slanderous towards the election officials. He said that they were part of the election fraud that had went on in order for Joe Biden to win, which no evidence was ever brought up. These women received death threats. These women, their lives were forever changed, and they were found to be awarded a large amount of money.
So he filed bankruptcy because of that?
To get out of it.
And they dismissed that?
They dismissed it. They was like, all right, son, you out of here, bro. They was like, they dismissed his bankruptcy case. Right. They said he is, I want to make sure I get the right term. But basically that now creditors can immediately pursue his assets. They said that the judge came to the decision. His name was Judge Sean Lane in bankruptcy court. Made the decision partially because of Giuliani's lack of transparency after he filed for bankruptcy more than 6 months ago. It looks like Giuliani has businesses that he was not giving the books for, even though he has been taking in wire transfers in recent weeks. He also has a book deal that he didn't dispose of and was keeping his personal earnings from a radio show and podcast coming into one of the corporate accounts private. I think Giuliani is like, Trump out to get back. I don't care. I ain't worried about none of this. Like, he just out here disrespecting people and they like, all right, you better hope he work fast. You better hope Trump got your back, bro, because if not, it ain't gonna be great for you, you know what I'm saying? And no, you lost a week, Giuliani, you know what I mean? You try to play them people anyway. You know you did them greasy, pay them their money. I hear you don't got a lot though. I hear he's
really?
Yeah. I mean, but what does that mean? You could be hiding it, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I it's not what we would think it is from what I hear, because he has a lot of legal stuff going on. I think that was not his only legal issue that he had. So, we'll see. But yeah, you know.
He may not have a lot of liquid, but he has to have assets.
I'm sure, but he's also old as hell, and he's like, I'm dying soon anyway. So, yeah, I would imagine he's a former lawyer. He was a government official.
Yeah,
I think he knows how to hide his money if he needs to. You know what I mean? And which is probably what he's trying to do. And they're like, yo, you're trying to play us right in front of our face. Get out of here. But yeah, Spec right now. But we got my guy Spec in the building. I like to do a segment here called "Put Some Respect on My Name."
My name come up, respect. Yeah.
Let's go.
Stop playing with my name.
That's when Spec lets us know if he got respect or speculation for just something going on in the news, man. And the first one I seen was Cam and Mase. You know, they got their sports show, It Is What It Is, having beef with Shakur Stevenson. They had a fight a couple weeks ago. It was in Newark, and they were saying it was boring. They were like, nobody wants to see you. Like, you're not going to get the big fights. And it's kind of...
What is he? Is he a defensive guy?
That's the vibe. I think Charlemagne might have... he was evaluating him, and that's how he said it. He's like, it's kind of closer to how Floyd's fights weren't the most exciting. They're going to go the distance. It's probably not going to be a knockout.
Mm-hmm.
Don't come to the fight. Don't pay for it if you don't want to see it. But a lot of people, along with... it wasn't just Mase and Cam'ron, were critical about... the fight. They weren't. I think people were booing. You know what I mean? So, you know, when they wanted more action in the ring, they're not seeing enough. They were very critical of him, and they had spoke out. But I'm gonna play you a clip of what Shakur said in response to their being critical, because I didn't think they were even that critical. What Mase had said was something like he just wouldn't come out to see him. He's not exciting to him.
Right.
But yeah, I'll play.
Do you know what irks me? When men talk boxing, but they never glove up. That fat MF for Mase and Big Teeth Cam'ron needs to shut the F up. Them two wiggers. I never step in a boxing ring. We got all types of entertainers gloving up. Tell these iggers to glove up or shut up.
So that's Shakur? That was Shakur Stevenson's.
Oh, okay.
That wasn't him talking.
Oh, I thought, I'm like...
He's like, sound like a bitch. No, that was
okay.
She was just reading because I think he tweeted it.
Okay.
Yeah, so she was just reading this tweet. I get being upset. You're an athlete. People are going to talk about your performance, and it's not unique that they're responding to people, talking heads who are critical of them. But it's just like, you want to fight him? Would you want to fight Skip Bayless if he was critical of you? Would you want to fight Stephen A. Smith?
Right.
But you're going to tell them knuckle up, and then also call him, like, you call him fat. You call Cam'ron big teeth. Like, it's like, I don't know. I feel like there's a way to... I would ignore it, first of all. I'm making money as a fucking boxer. And I know I can fight. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to pay attention to what people say. So I don't really understand when people get the Twitter fingers. Like...
I mean, he's obvious. I don't know how old he is, but he has to be young.
Let's check his age. I just had to pull that.
I would say, 24-ish?
27.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's still very young.
Yeah.
So he's
in that era.
He's in that era where he's going to respond to people. Because at the end of the day, you don't want people talking about you. So it's just like, knuckle up then.
And then we're going to get to Cam'ron's response in a second. But I think my thing is like, the internet is some people's reality to an extent, right? They make money on there. They get girls on there. That's how they see the world through the social media realm of life. Mm-hmm. But it's also very easy to make a narrative online that might not be the real reality. But because you know how to finesse social media, right, it can make it seem as if things are away. And I think a good example of this is like, you've heard of Taylor Swift's re-releasing her albums. I call them Taylor's version. Now, whether you agree with it or not, right, I watched a documentary on this. It's on HBO Max. You go check it out. It's called Bad Blood, I believe. And it talks about, Scooter Braun was the guy who bought them.
What?
Her masters, excuse me.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
So basically, in case you don't know the background of the story, and I'll try to get through it quick so we get back to it. But basically, she was on a record label from when she was a kid. She had ran through the contract. It was time for her to, like, re-up. She was like, I want my masters. They were like, yo, we'll work out a deal. You drop an album for us, we'll give you one of your first album back. You drop another album, we'll give you the second one out. Kind of like work your way through it. She goes over to Universal. She's shopping around. She's seeing what else is out there. They like, and this is under the table, but they're like, yo, we're going to sign you. We're going to pay you a lot of money, give you a nice contract. And also, we know you're interested in your masters. So don't say nothing. Keep it on the low. We're gonna buy the masters back from your former CEO, the guy you were signed to. We're gonna buy them.
And that was Scooter Braun?
No. It was what was his name? Scott. Hold on, I just want to make sure I get his name. Scott somethings. Because she basically went after both of them at first. It was Scooter Braun and Scott Borchetta. Scott Borchetta.
Okay.
So he owned Big Machine Records, I think was the name of the record label. And he was the one who told her, drop one, we'll give you one, drop one, we'll give you one. But like, basically Universal was like, yo, I'll make them all fee camera things. But we'll keep it on the low. Because if people know there's a demand for this thing, what are they going to do? Run the prices up. Right. They're going to know. Don't say nothing. Basically, they told her, don't say nothing. And she said something. Mm-hmm. She sent them a text. And, you know what I mean? And they was like, I wanted you to know this for me. They posted the text because she made up a whole narrative. Basically, I'm leaving, but rather than you hear it from the press release that comes out, I want to send you a text. Which is already kind of like funny. Right. Come tell me in my face if it was like that. Whatever. But like, I'm no longer interested in purchasing my masters from you. Da-da-da-da-da. And they posted this because she's trying to paint a narrative saying otherwise. Goes and says a little bit too much, I feel like, in the text message. Right? And then so now, Universal comes out. She's signed over there. She's leaving. When they call you and be like, yo, Scott. Excuse me. Scott Borchetta. Yo, we gonna throw you da-da-da-da-da-da. You're already like, fuck you. First of all. Fuck you. You guys didn't call. You guys didn't say. I knew this was coming because she texted me. Right. So fuck you. The price is double if you want it, and kiss my ass basically because you took my number one art. I never heard anybody else sign to that label. Right. So Scott comes in. Scooter comes in and is like, "Oh, what's going on? Like, I'm interested in buying Taylor's masters." And he's like, "Yo, I'll sell you the whole record label. $300. Give me $300 million. I'll sell you the whole record label." Mm-hmm. You get her mad. You own them now. He's like, "Yo, that's cool, but let Taylor know because if she wants to be in on this, I don't gotta put up all the money." But da. They're like, "No, she don't." Show them the text. She don't want to be in because she already was trying to big dick on. Right. I want you to hear from me first. Da. I'm like that. You know what I mean? She didn't have to say nothing. It could have that deal could have went through. They could have bought. You know what I mean? And then they found out she was right. That go all that. He wants to sell it because he'd rather sell to Scooter to fuck him over, and he know you don't fuck with Scooter because it was already in the news. Scooter was cool with Kanye. Justin Bieber. She's cool with Selena Gomez. You know what I mean? All that type of shit. So ends up selling it. So she goes on this big like. They pulled the rug from underneath me. They didn't give me a chance to buy my masters. Sold it to somebody that I didn't like. Really created a narrative as if they like fucked her over. Her dad is on the board of Big Machine. When she first got signed there, he bought a stake in the company.
Does she have a relationship with her father?
Yes, okay. they cool. He to the point where he's like, as a shareholder, I don't want to know about this. I'm gonna forward all the emails to Taylor's team. Because I don't want my influence to have anything to do with this deal with Scott, Scooter and all that. So she knew about it. So to paint it, basically she made a real media campaign, a social media campaign, where she put out a letter. And in the letter, she uses the language, let them know how you feel. But that's Trump telling them to go to the Capitol. Right. That's loaded language. Just make their life hard. And that's like however you can. He's getting death threats, people calling his kids. This guy, Scooter Braun, I never heard nothing bad about Scooter Braun other than this. But she's already painted the narrative. So once it's online, it's done. So whether the reality of it doesn't even matter. They put out this whole documentary and it's on HBO Max. That shit ain't doing no numbers. It's being suppressed. They're not, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, the truth I say all that to say, I think Shakur Stevenson is like, damn, the narrative out there is my fights is boring. These dudes got a big ass platform. They're talking about me. But the reality of it, you was getting fights regardless. The boxing industry respects you. Right. And so you're getting caught up. That's not the reality. You're getting caught
up in the wrong.
Yeah. You're worried about what the girls.
What they're saying is not going to really.
Because your friends listen to that. The girls you want to mess with listen to that. But the real boxing aficionados are watching some Max Kellerman or somebody else. Right. You know what I'm saying? And who's probably saying, yeah, but you can't beat him. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, but wanted to tweet that about Cam'ron Mase, like we don't know about Cam'ron Mase, so I'll play you Mace's, Cam's response.
The point being is this: you fighting more after the fight, trying to fight everybody on Instagram, on Twitter, or everything else because we seen it. What is you talking about? Then you talk about we should glove up. Shut the up. But slap fire out you. Shut the up. You getting boxing in the streets confused. Like stop getting boxing in the street. Those are two different things. Because when a switchblade or something out and everything, you talk about better strap up. Why would you give that heads up? You dumb mother. Get out of here. You out your mother mind. If you want to impress me, step up and wait. Fight to your Fimo in Newark so he can knock your head to Irvington.
I don't even think he said nothing about strapping up. I definitely thought Cam'ron heard what he wanted to hear. But no, yeah, you talking crazy to people. I get it, you're a boxer, but I just feel like you wouldn't talk to Shannon Sharp like that. You'd be like, yeah, I don't know, like why we got to talk to? Because even Shannon Sharp was beefing with Cam'ron Mase. He got a little like tough guy about it. You know what I mean? Like it was like, why you ain't talk to Mike Epps like this? why you coming at us like that? Because I think I get maybe rap. You think you just assume toughness? I don't know.
I have no idea.
No, Cam's not the one. So I guess respect or speculation. You think Shakur Stevenson went about that the right way, just defending his honor? Or?
I mean, it's nothing to defend. I mean, at the end of the day, people are allowed to have their opinions. Like, focus on your craft. As long as you keep getting them checks, like they're not the people you need to worry about or impress, for that matter. So
keep the main thing the main thing. Yeah, people get caught. That's what
like
I mean.
Your battle is not in that world.
Yeah,
your battle is in that ring.
Exactly. Respect right now on respect or speculation. We got to talk about this Kendrick Lamar video that dropped, man. It dropped on the 4th of July. Yeah. It's Not Like Us. You know, it's iconic. It's a video for a diss track. You know what I mean? Something we don't really see much. So let's check it out right now and
let's do it.
See how we feel.
Trying to strike a chord and it's probably A minor. I'm glad these roads came home, y'all didn't deserve from me. From Alanja down to Central, nigga better not speak no
Back up. Dope video. I liked it. I thought there was gonna be a lot more West Coast in there, like the scenes of him out in the crowd. I think that's what I thought the whole video was gonna look like. So it was actually a refreshing surprise to see more of the other locations, the artistic views that he did with it. But I didn't think it was bad.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the song itself is massive.
It's hard to have a video.
It's hard to put a video for something like that, especially if it's a diss track. Mm. So it's hard to make a video for that. So I mean, it's not a bad video. It was highly anticipated, and so when I watched it, maybe I just thought it was just gonna be something crazy, just like the song, and it just felt it was a normal ass video. Like
you're right, very right about that. And then plus, I think if it was gonna come down to it, because this was the bigger song, I think you had to make the video for this one. But I think Euphoria would have been if we were like
really a better video,
because the whole song's about him.
It's no accident you can tell me. Yeah, Conan Nabi, no, I'm a selfish nigga. The crown is heavy. I pray they ain't my real friends, and not how YNW met.
You know what I mean? And the way the song, like, he's riding, I don't know, I just felt like that would have been like...
I feel like the euphoria, just the way the song goes, it would have made for a better video than just this, but... Nonetheless,
I mean, not a bad video.
I care about the song more than anything than the video itself.
You know what's weird? I still don't know. I wonder how. I gotta look in to see if anyone's responded. I wonder how the Atlanta artists feel about that third verse. The ones who are mentioned.
Like, I mean, they in secrecy they probably agree, and I say in secrecy because I assume they probably most of them probably don't have an issue with Drake.
Yeah.
Other than maybe Future. So with that said, they probably I mean he is, but I mean I benefit from it too, so I don't give a shit.
Well, no, that was the Taylor Swift thing I spoke about earlier, the switching the narrative of that's what Kendrick did, because a lot of people before that looked at him as like, yo, Drake is putting these dudes on, like giving them, they were popping. He ain't taking them off the streets from nowhere and build them up. They was popping, but he put them on a world stage. Yeah, right. Drake ain't just an American artist, you know what I'm saying? So if you're a rapper from Atlanta and now people from France is fucking with you because of that exposure. So I can see that. Like, it's a good way to flip the narrative on it. You know what I mean?
No, it is. It is.
I don't know if he did it on purpose, but he dropped it on July 4th, which I think was the same day as the white party. So there was a lot of videos of Drake coming out just looking sad at the party. And like a lot of people were thinking that like they was watching it.
I heard it's a hot song. So wherever you're at, you're like, how you not? You know, so.
No, Kendrick did his thing on that song. Like, we didn't, you know what I was thinking, like a lot of episodes where we just happened to link up. It wasn't right when a lot of these like diss tracks had come out, but we didn't even really talk about just how like scathing of a diss track Euphoria was, or even the Meet the Grams.
No, all of them, not just
like he got
not one. He came out with an EP.
He did.
We never seen that ever. We never seen an EP diss.
Yeah,
like,
right.
And the difference is, like, most of the time when you get a diss record from an artist, we'll use Drake as an example. Normally it's not, if it's just towards one person, it's a few bars, right? If it's against multiple people, like we seen in Takeover, like, you'll have a 3-minute track, but it's not on one person, it's on a bunch of people.
Yeah, exactly.
So you get a lot of content but Kendrick did an EP on one individual. And what I love most about it, if you just listen to, there are most of the time, again, when you get a diss track, there are what I'll call wasted bars, where the bar he just said has nothing to really do with the diss or the artist that he's dissing. It just sounds hot. Like, there were no wasted bars on any of these tracks from Kendrick. It was the most surgical, like
Spec, I was leaning Drake at the beginning of this, right? But when Kendrick has the line on Euphoria, where he's like, there's 2 ghosts left and they hugging and kissing on stage. He's like, and in 8 bars, I'll explain that phrase. No, he said, I love him to death. And in 8 bars, I'll explain that phrase, right? And then you can count it. You can count the bars. He's like, ain't nobody can tell me I don't want to talk on no celly, da-da-da-da. Then he goes, I pray they, Cole and Aubrey know that the crown is heavy. I pray they my real friends. If not, I'm YNW. I was like, hold on. Hold on. My man just made me count the bars and then brought it back to, yo, I love him to death.
He did the same thing at the end of the track when he's talking about, on the end of this track.
Not Like Us?
When he's, you know,
the family matter is the truth of the matter. It was guys playing to show y'all.
Well, when he starts off that third verse, you know, Atlanta's the Mecca, building railroads and trains and da da da. Like he did something similar.
Oh yeah. He said, "Homie, still double down, calling us some slaves."
And then, you know, I'm gonna explain it to you in a minute. And, you know, then man, I mean, even from the Not Like Us, it started on that track with Future. And that verse was surgical.
Oh, like that, right?
Like that. Verse, yeah. That was a surgical verse, and it just continued from there.
That is insane. Like, yeah, Kendrick did something that we have not seen in rap, and that is definitely deserving all the accolades and moment that he's getting, man, right now. Because that was a case study. That was a master class on how you handle a rap beat. For real. But I do want to check out the Drake video, because no matter what you can say, Drake did have some bars. Like, I have a Spotify playlist that plays all of these songs in row. from like that. Actually, it starts with first person shooter.
They have a thing, like a playlist that
bro, I rock out to that shit all the time. Did you see the Eminem? It was like how Eminem was dissing Kendrick.
I heard about it. I haven't listened.
It's not
to
real.
track.
It's not real. No. It's
really?
it's a real bar, right? The bars are on there. But here's the thing: people just run for headlines and they want clicks. Hold on, I'm gonna pull it up for you guys. Eminem just dissed Kendrick Lamar on the intro of his album, and they quoted, "I don't see no fans. All I see is a bunch of complainers. Kendrick's album is cool, but I didn't have any bangers." And shout out to KFC over at Barstool because he dropped a video. Like he saw the internet reaction. Like people like, "Oh, Eminem won it with Kendrick." Da 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 da. I was like, "Yo, he about to go DEFCON on all white rappers." Like it's about to happen. But the album is called "The Death of Slim Shady." It's a concept album, and one album's as Marshall and the other album's as one half.
So
it's one half of the album.
Okay.
Was as Marshall Mathers, and he's like basically Marshall is like, that's old. I grew up. I'm beyond that. You're just controversial. And Slim Shady's like, you need me. Nobody gives a fuck about you with the boring shit unless you're getting high and dissing people. And he's like, yo, you turned into you grew up mad at bullies and they turned you into Eminem. What'd you do when you got fame? You started bullying people. So the album's a lot of talking back and forth. And right before he says, I don't see no fans. All I see is a bunch of complainers. He's like, before that, the line is, let's go into the mind of a hater. So he starts saying a whole bunch of stuff and dissing people. So that's like a quote that a hater would say, like, Kendrick's album's cool, but I didn't have any bangers. And if you're not listening and paying attention,
you just take that one line.
Yeah, and that's kind of like the beauty of what Eminem does. Like, I'm an old school. I had high school angst listening to Eminem so I'm like an old school fan of Eminem. But he's really playing out like how he knew that was gonna happen. He knew somebody was going to take that line and run with it, especially because Kendrick popping right now. He's in the middle of a beef. So he's like, oh, they're going to throw me some shit. And it worked. It was like Snoop with the solo stove. he's like, look out, your solo smoke or whatever. Yeah. He's like, look how the people going to react to this shit. You know what I'm saying? And they did. People ran to it. But yeah, no, Eminem is not beef with Kendrick. Anybody out there wondering? Let's check out Drake's Family Matter. Because something I'll say about this, I heard this, I don't know how true it was, but I heard this is the most he ever said nigga on a song. Because of Kendrick saying we don't want to hear you say nigga no more, which I think is kind of corny. But also, who keeps stats like that? There's so many things in this beef that people. I'm like, I know Kendrick and Drake are sitting back like, oh shit, I didn't even think about it from that angle. Yeah. Like with the stab this way, they were like that was R. Kelly.
Well, when I first heard the song, like I for some reason, like this sound like R. Kelly type. And I said to myself, I wonder if he meant to do that. But yeah, I did catch on to that immediately.
But I think it's funny that this started off, there's a whole economy about people just making up bars. Like that, he meant it like this, but whether they did or not, we'll never know. But back right now, we're gonna take it on to the next segment that we got going on. It's called Have You Heard? I hear some stories in the news, and I'm bringing them to the table to see if my guy Spec has heard. I'm not sure if you saw the interview this week with Pop Smoke's killer who came out of jail. I believe his name is Blockstar.
He got out of jail?
Yeah.
Like on some bail shit or like...
No, he wasn't the one who pulled the trigger.
Oh, okay.
So I think because of his age, he probably just turned...
Oh, he was one of the people that was there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think he probably just had to serve a 4-year sentence from juvenile detention.
Damn, it was that long ago?
Yeah.
It ain't even seemed that long. Okay.
2020. Or maybe 2019. Maybe.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. But don't
that like 2020 seemed like mad long. Like you like, damn, that was only 4 years ago. Like, yeah, for real, it was like, damn. But I hear what you say. Yeah, it was. He was released as he served a 4-year sentence, which was handed down as part of a plea deal in 2023. Footage came out shortly after he was released of him attempting to cut off an ankle monitor. I guess he was mad at No Jumper for putting that footage out there, but ended up doing an interview with them. And I'll let you hear what he says in the interview. It was kind of like jarring.
Why was he mad that they posted a video of him taking off the ankle monitor? Wasn't he free?
No, I doubt he was free. He probably was trying to like cut it off, like for real. Which I'm just, this kid doesn't sound like the sharpest tool in the shed. But no, he was saying with them, he feels like they're culture vultures. Which I mean, but then he does an interview with them because they probably gave him the bag. You know what I'm saying? So. At first, they culture vultures until he accused the controversial outlet No Jumper of exploiting his name and story for their own benefit, but he didn't make any similar accusations about any of the other blogs that came out about it. So
I'm not sorry about nothing. No, it should never happen, but I ain't sorry. I mean, like if I could go back, I'll go back, but I ain't sorry. Like. die every day. Like, he was rapping about it, all type of shit. So I ain't sorry about it, but you know, I send my condolences to the family, and I wish it never happened. But
so, do you regret going to the Airbnb that night?
I don't regret nothing, but I wish I never had. Yeah.
But when you say you're not sorry, well, you just seems like you're acting like this is just the circle of life. This is how it happens.
No, it's not. I'm not making this small thing. It's just, I don't know. Growing up, my people, my family told me you ain't sorry for shit. Like, whatever you did it for a reason, and stand on it. So it's like, yeah, I did it, but it wasn't like we all went to go do that. So start making me feel like, I feel like people need to start making me feel like I got something to like I owe something to somebody. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Dude sounds stupid.
Yeah, he's also young. He's young. Yeah, but he didn't fully form that thought out when he came up with it. You know what I'm saying? I think he thinks saying he regrets it or he's sorry is somehow showing softness.
No, that's exactly. Cause I mean, I get what he's saying. Like, you know, you shouldn't be sorry for anything you did. Stand on it. Like, no, that obviously that's some street shit. Yeah. Right. Like, but he says I wish it never happened or it shouldn't have happened, but I'm not sorry that it did. That's a complete oxymoron.
But something that's telling in there is he says stop making me feel, or people need to stop making me feel.
So start making me feel like, I feel like people need to start making me feel like I got something to like I owe something to somebody. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Which sounds like the remorse.
He has it in there.
Yeah, it's like starting to get to him a little bit. I'm like, who's there? I don't even think they was I didn't hear what they asked him, but it didn't seem like they was trying to make him feel like anything.
Like, you need to go find yourself.
Yeah, because there's something going on in there. Like, I don't get it. And then he also says Pop Smoke was rap. Like, he didn't say his name. He's like, niggas was rapping about it. So that was grounds for you to. But like, when you're a kid and you come from a fucked up.
Obviously, you could tell he has no guidance.
Yeah, right? a total lack of it, man. And but yeah, there's a bunch of these guys, man. They're still like, I think one of them is still locked up. But I think the rest of them might be coming home. I think they said late last month, Corey Walker, the only person charged as an adult for Pop Smoke's murder, received a new trial date after he failed to agree to a plea deal with prosecutors. Negotiations fell through, but there's still a possibility they might come to an agreement. If no plea deal is agreed, jury selection for the trial will go ahead on August 6th. That's crazy, yeah, because that shooting happened in February 2020. In August 2024, damn, on the trial.
It's crazy. They need to figure out a way, like the court system. Like you do a case today, your case may not get heard until 5-6 years after.
No. I think they're trying to retrial him because they said he was tried in juvenile court because of his age. He also admitted to a home invasion robbery charge, as well as personally and intentionally discharging a firearm during the crime. He's expected to be held in a juvenile facility until the age of 25. So he's probably trying to like appeal that side. But yeah, it's sad altogether, man. Just the culture that we're in. You know what I mean? Like I don't condone any of that. It sucks that we still talk about that happening to rappers, but like it's real out here. It really is real out here, man. Rest in peace to Pop Smoke, though, man. Spec, have you heard the girl known as Tuah or Hawk Tuah, depending on how you pronounce it? She's been blowing up. She has a Rolling Stone feature in the magazine. I've heard she's reached like 1 million followers, and also talks that she might get a reality show of some sort, or at least a documentary. I know she's signed with a agency, so which milk it. And
might as well.
Yeah, she's selling hats. But I think the funny thing about her is it shows just how it's almost like a microcosm for this country. It's like we're all kind of like tongue in cheek about sex jokes, and that's what she is. She's a sex joke. But what I like about it is she's making money off a sex joke while these girls are out here doing OnlyFans and like can't pale in comparison to like you know what I mean? Like there's people out here that are comedians that come up with material that don't have a set as good as her interview on the side of the street. Right. You know what I'm saying? So that's why we're rewarding it in terms of like giving her this shine. Mm-hmm. But I think also she could be sucking dick for money. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that she's not, I think, is maybe I'm just old. But I think it's like I don't think girls should be inspired to want to do that.
Well, you know this she didn't plan for this to happen. If she was just being normal on the street, somebody happened to approach her,
possibly drunk.
Maybe, and it blew up from there. Now she's taking advantage of it. So this is not something like with OnlyFans, like you wake up one day and say, okay, I need to figure out a way to make some money. And, you create the content and there's a lot more that goes into it. And so,
because she's not looking for it, you think?
Right. She wasn't looking for it and it just happened. So this wasn't something that you can like necessarily plan.
Yeah.
Right. Whereas if you're on OnlyFans, if you're doing something on TikTok, these are things that you're attempting to do and create and all of that. And so, it's cool. I'm happy for her that she didn't have to take off the clothes and all of that.
Yet. Who knows what career path she's going down.
Exactly. But, she didn't mean for this to happen. So she happened to get lucky and she's taking advantage of the opportunity.
It's almost like opposite Kim Kardashian, right? Like a lot of people don't like Kim Kardashian because they're like, why is she famous? What's the talent? But it feels like she wanted it. It feels like she was going for it. She's hanging out with Paris Hilton before that. She's dating Ray J. It kind of feels like she aspired for that celebrity life, whereas this girl's just...
Well, her parents were kind of...
celebrities of sort.
And so...
in that lifestyle, But I think when you feel like you're trying for it or you want it, I think people don't like that. They go try hard.
I don't know why.
It's like you're almost supposed to get things because it's almost like they're rewarding her because she's kind of without effort. You know what I mean? Some people still hate him. Let's not pretend that that's not happening. But it's almost like if you try, then we should be like. I'm not on the Kim Kardashian like cheerleader squad, but I'm just saying like it's just I find it weird just how we pick and choose. Like I like that there's a system now that when you go viral, you can actually monetize it. Whereas in the years past, like Catch Me Outside has to do OnlyFans to keep monetizing that. Whereas if maybe she did it in 2024, there would have already been something built in to T-shirts made, as we're seeing with Hot Tuah. But it's like we just pick and choose kind of with these like what we're gonna like praise and what we're not like.
Mm-hmm. No, it's no different than like, for instance, like TikTok, right? Mm-hmm. TikTok can go to the corner bodega, a TikToker. Oh, they have these amazing, and this prior to that, this bodega they didn't do many sales, but now everybody want to go to that bodega
because now it's notable.
So when it's the same old bodega,
nothing changed. Yeah, but had they been going out trying to make their own TikToks, people are like, man, it's corny. Y'all trying to, but I think it's a way of like it kind of when it feels like it fell in your lap. It kind of feels like you won the lottery. Like we'll give you 3 weeks. We'll give like Hot Tuah. I think I'll kick the coverage. Don't worry. I thought this would have been dead by now.
Like couple months.
Yeah, over a month. You know what I mean? And then even the fact, right? I look at it. Did you ever watch that video? I think I sent it to you guys. Where it was the prison guard having sex with the inmate. Yeah. That was over in the UK. Now I've heard different accounts. I've heard some people say that was fake. That wasn't a real thing. But then I've also seen like the Daily Mail is reporting
that ain't fake.
What I think happened is, you know how the adult stars recreate viral moments? I think people were seeing the adult stars recreate, and they were like, oh, this whole thing was set up and fake. But I think the original video was real people happening because they got the girl's name here, Linda DeSosa Abreu. She's facing charges.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing fake about it.
But she's kind of seeing the opposite end of it. Like, her life is, she's lost her job. She might face jail. Well, she has. No one's arguing against that. Which she's lucky she's not charged with something else because she kind of.
What is she charged with?
Hold on.
And she's bad. That's all.
And you seen that picture of her?
Yeah. Come on now.
What is she charged with? Hold on, I want to look at the bottom of it.
They better put some money on her case. Like
that was her in court. He said they should put some money on her case.
I wouldn't send her to jail.
I think they gave her enough. Hold on, I seen it earlier. What they charged her with? It might have. I thought it was at the bottom. She's been charged with misconduct, performing. Yeah, it just says
that's it. Misconduct.
Yeah. Which I'm saying she could be charged a lot more. Like she them. If you really break it down, like, she's in a position of power.
Hell yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
If she's smart, she can monetize off of this. Like, A&E would love this story.
They said she recently quit her job following the scandal, but she was probably gonna let go anyway.
OnlyFans.
I just think it's just different, like how Hawk Tuah is just not showing nothing, then popping up in pictures with Shaq. You know what I'm saying? Popping up at Zach Bryan concerts.
I mean, that
this girl's walking in shame. Now, granted, Hawk Tuah's talking about it in a funny way, and she's giving the Hawk
She's
Tuah.
actually doing it, right?
Yeah. So I'll give her. I guess we probably should look at it differently. She said, if you come across fake profiles and me ask for money, don't fall for it. There's been a lot of fake GoFundMe and OnlyFans account of me. They're not me, and I do apologize. I don't know. The picture like you was planning something.
Man, you need to start an OnlyFans. You crazy? You know how much money she would get?
I didn't think she was that cute though when I was watching the video. She looked a lot better in these pictures. Yeah,
she better do something.
And I'm sure they got in trouble with this. Inmates had to get in trouble with that. Like,
yeah, but they're already in jail. It's like, how much more?
Nigga, you in the whole nigga, you was having. What are you talking about? You said like they was having a good time.
Chilling, right?
I don't think where they going after this is gonna be that much fun. But they got cell phone. They got chicks in there. He got Wi-Fi. He posted it to the internet. No, I don't think the whole gonna be like that, bro.
That is true, especially in another country.
But yeah, man, I just think it's just different. Well, maybe that could be it too, because she's not in this country. Maybe if she was in America, I don't know.
If she was in America, one, she would be facing more
if she had
than
no criminal,
conduct.
if she had no criminal stuff going on, then she definitely could turn it around or fund her legal.
Well,
fund.
no, like what I'm saying is she would be charged with more than misconduct in America.
Yeah, you say she wouldn't be free to walk the streets.
Yeah, it wouldn't be that simple. Now, in a few years, would she be able to maybe? But I mean, she lucky, and she.
If that's all she's facing, she's lucky as hell.
She's lucky,
yeah.
and I feel like she can easily bounce back from this.
Oh, if she's not facing prison time, which then
even if she was, like the fact that
even after she comes out,
the fact that people are creating fake OnlyFans, like all of this stuff, it tells you there is something behind. Like there's people, and I mean, as sick as it may sound, people, it's something weird that they gravitate towards it.
Once you already got a buzz for something, and then they know they can see you with no clothes on, there people love that. Like Rachel Dolezal, the girl who faked like she was a black person for the NAACP, like that. She's on there. She's probably making tons of money from it. You know what I mean? So it just goes to show you, man. Before we get out of here, because we're running tight on time, Spec, want to know your thoughts about this. Will Smith wants the Oscars to lift his 10-year ban over the controversial slap of Chris Rock. Will Smith, after the success of Bad Boys 4, have you seen that? Bad Boys 4?
I haven't watched it.
I haven't seen Bad Boys 3. So I got to catch up on that too. But I heard great things about Bad Boys 4. They did a ton of money.
Damn, did I see 3? I don't recall.
I heard bad reviews about 3, but from what I heard, 4 redeems the series.
I've heard nothing but good reviews about 4.
And they're making a ton of money off of it.
And it's on the TV screen now.
What do you mean?
Meaning it's not in the movie theaters anymore. It's on the TV.
I thought I knew about it. He said that like an old person. So I was like, let me make sure I understood. It's not in the color pictures no more. It's on the tube. I nigga said it's on the TV screen. Nah, but he's basically trying to use the success of it to kind of like leverage his way back in with the Oscars.
I didn't think he cared. But obviously,
no. Will Smith's industry is fucked, and actually, he's kind of saying like, "Yo, I made a lot of money."
But
for the
people
industry.
they're gonna support him even if he's not in the Oscars. So I don't.
If you're making money without the Oscar, why do you need the Oscar? What are they? Their code of approval. I guess he feels like if he does a certain, people don't want to hire him probably for Oscar
nominate Oscar level.
Yeah,
type
this is a
films.
potential Oscar level film. They might go with someone else because they're like, well, you're banned. They're not going to give it to you. Or you
that makes sense.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can make. Because why wouldn't you get if you're still making money?
Yeah,
and obviously, Bad Boys is a pre-existing series he's a part of.
Right, so probably like no massive motion picture type of organization is gonna want to hire him because
they want the Oscar.
They want the Oscar, and you can't get it for us. So
and you have to pay money to get those. like you have to campaign. It's almost as if like you're doing a presidential.
You have to campaign for
once you're nominated to win. Like you got to I think you got to campaign to get nominated. Number one, but like, because like, there's mad movies that come out in the year.
Yeah, you do have to camp. Like you yourself aren't like there's a team that does it.
That studio's funding that. Yeah. You're sending him on interviews. You're sending the director to go. That's all the campaign to like get them. And they're like, we can't put that money behind you if we don't think that
makes sense.
But the real reason I want to talk about, because I think it's corny, but as we talk about it from an industry standpoint, it makes a lot of business sense. And he doesn't probably want to produce something where he feels like get blackballed. You know what I mean? Because he produces Bel Air.
Probably not his money, all his money, but you know,
he would feel like he's doing some people a disservice because they're like, well, if I work with you, is that going to get me? I don't think he's there. I don't think the industry is shunning Will Smith at all.
Right.
But he, in his own mind, because he has this 10-year ban, might feel like, which I don't even think, even if he said nothing, I don't even think they'd ban him for 10 years. 5 years, they'd be like, you back, Will. Will's back. He's winning again. But you know what I want to ask you, and I guess just how you now. As time is going on, we learn more of the situation. Before, it just seemed kind of real, like, corny that he did that. But, like, if you've read Will's book, you've heard that, like, he's seen his father and his mom go through domestic issues where he wanted to get involved but just didn't have the courage to. And that seemed like it was a courage moment for him. Now, whether it's he's dealing with something that we don't know about or he didn't like the questions he was getting on the red carpet throughout that whole season, and he just snapped. Whatever the case may be, if Will Smith could go back in time, and you're Will Smith, if you feel disrespected, what is the right way to handle that? Like, you already know if you slap him, what's going to come from that. How would you handle expressing to Chris Rock that you were upset?
Personally, everything is a private conversation.
I think he should have went on stage and like pulled him aside, like away from the microphone kind of thing.
I feel like if I'm gonna get up out my seat, I'll probably gonna have to slap you. What am I gonna walk all the way upstairs?
But you have the hindsight already.
Well, yeah. So I mean, I wouldn't even get up on stage. Like if I had a real issue, if I was that upset, like whatever I would have done would have happened off camera.
Yeah. Because you would have known. It's about to get active.
Yeah, I'm not gonna walk up while it's being televised and for the world to see. Just personally, I'm not one of those people. I want to do whatever I do behind the scenes.
Yeah, that's why I think he was spiraling, but he wanted to show something because I don't.
No, yeah, like he was going through something, or is going through something, man. That was just like the boiling over point. Like he probably already having a bad night for whatever reason.
He's nervous. King Richard was nominated, so for the like.
Okay, yeah, whatever. Maybe him and Jada got into an argument right before. I don't know, but he was going through something in that moment, and that was the trigger. And I'm gonna let it fly. Right.
Would it have been effective though if you think he would have just walked up, did the walk up, but pulled him off mic, whispered something in his ear, kind of like say apologize to her, and then see if Chris really does it. I don't know that. Maybe that would have gotten him banned.
Weird.
That just seems like I don't know. That seems like the wrong kind of gangster. Like, what did he say? What did he tell him in his ear?
Right. I just feel like had he did that, I mean, obviously the narrative. Well, what did Will say?
What did he say?
And then how is Chris Rock gonna? Chris Rock, he's a comedian, so he probably like how would Chris Rock react?
It can't get worse than how he played it.
No, it wouldn't be worse.
Yeah, but yeah, Chris Rock would have to.
It would be a weird moment
in some way, shape, or form. What if Will just shouted out the "Keep My Wife's Name"? You think he would still got banned?
No.
Even if cursing on TV, live TV,
nothing would happen. No. Had he just sat there and said, "Shut the fuck, keep my wife's name out your mouth,"
that'd be weird too, though. We wouldn't know how upset he really. I think people would have laughed. People would have laughed.
Yeah. And Chris Rock, I'm almost certain he would and probably would have made another joke or whatever the case may be. But nothing would have resulted from that had he just stayed in the seat and said he wouldn't have got you. You're not going to get banned for cursing.
Yeah.
You're not going to get banned for talking or nothing like that. So,
and I think the ban was an overcorrection because they let him stay and they gave him an award after that actually too. So I'm not mad at the ban only because if you didn't give him the ban, it'll show. I mean, anybody can walk up there and do whatever, and it's not that big of a deal. They might have found themselves. I'm obviously not a lawyer, but maybe they might have found themselves in legal issues with Chris Rock for not providing enough safety for him. And like, even though they're doing it after the fact, retroactively, they have to show something,
right?
Because he has a case that they allowed him to get assaulted and then rewarded the guy that assaulted him. You know what I mean? So They probably do some ass kissing with Chris Rock. But yeah, man, Spec, that is another episode in the books. I appreciate you for coming out, dog. Before we get out of here, where can my people find you out on social media?
Nowhere.
If you want to find your guy, DJ Playboy, on social media, hit me up on Twitter, or if you call it X, at DJ Playboy. You can find me on Instagram at Plickapeezy, PLICCAPEEZY, and you can find Perfect Talk Podcast on Instagram at Perfect Talk Radio. And make sure you go check out the website, www.perfecttalkpodcast.com. We got a ton of t-shirts on there, so go check out the merch spot. I just dropped some new merch on there too, so go check it out. You can get yourself a nice mug too, and of course you can check out every episode of the Perfect Talk Podcast and everything DJ Playboy going on out here. Spec, appreciate you coming through, brother. You just came back from vacation. How was that?
Yes, sir. I just got back from Florida. Always good time. Get away from the monotony, the daily monotony, and just get some relaxation in.
Were you here for the heat wave?
I came back.
You came back to the heat wave. It was rough to back. We are sweating it out here, man, upstate New York. But I guess there's much worse places actually when I see the full nation map. Yes. It's looking crazy. So I guess I should count my blessings, man.
And y'all people, y'all stay warm.
Definitely hydrated too, man. And
I said stay warm.
Stay warm. Cool. And definitely, yeah. But do stay hydrated and spread love is the Brooklyn way. We up out of here. Spec, say goodbye to the people, man.
Yes, sir. Peace.